Okay, so I don't know how to introduce this video, but hey, I'm Stomptech and I was feeling imaginative one day. So let's get into this. These are new main weapons that I cooked up for Splatoon 3. Let's get started. So I cooked this one up a while ago. I call it the Bag of Paint. I don't know, that's just kind of a filler name. Just roll with it. If you have any better names, just let me know down in the comments. And yeah, so this thing can, the reason why I call it a bag of paint is because it's either a giant plastic bag that that's all wrinkly at the first, and then as you charge it, then it fills up with ink and it gets more dangerous. And like that can work aesthetically. Also, the idea maybe it could work as a cauldron, where you just have a big old cauldron, but that could just be big and heavy. And I think Splatoon's aesthetic would lean more towards the giant plastic bag. So what is this thing? Basically, it is a mix of a charger and a slosher. What it does is that the longer you hold the fire button, the more the paint bag will be filled, and then when you release, then it will lob a big wad of paint forward. And it's really big and very likely to hit. The thing is that it's going to take a little bit to charge, 1 second to get fully charged. It's not going to have a lot of end lag because most of the lag is going to come up from startup. And then I think for damage numbers, it's going to start at 30 and scale up to 90. And then when fully charged, it will jump to 120. And the thing is that it's going to be big enough where it's pretty likely to hit. But Squid Roll parries up to 30 damage. So if you parry it right, it's going to drop down, the damage is going to drop down to 90. So if you don't have any damage, then you can parry it and be okay and maybe get away. However, if you already have damage, you're still probably going to die. And then it's not going to have a lot of end lag, so if you get hit and you try to approach, it can just swing again. It's going to be kind of like close range chargers with the tap shots. It's just going to paint a bit more. And then it can also charge for a little bit more range and a little bit more damage, and it goes from like a 4 shot because of the 30 to a 3 shot and then to a 2 shot. And since the charge is only about 1 second, you'll need to charge it super long to get to 2 shot range. Now, there is going to be a gimmick to this. Basically, if you get over halfway charged and then throw it either straight forward or down, then when the paint lands, it will kind of like jump forward a bit. Like you throw it out and it'll like splash and then go forward a little bit more, extending your range a bit longer. And then this wave that goes forward will deal 80 damage so pretty high number. And then if they're close enough, it will combo, and if you have a teammate, that will combo into a kill. And this just kind of like extends the range a bit, and then is if people are trying to space you, and then you can just suddenly just have a big burst in range that goes forward. And if they're already damaged, they are going to die. It's going to be decently ink hungry, of course, depending on how much you charge it, and then the range on this thing I think is also going to be about normal slosher range. Maybe of course it's going to scale up and down, but I think at base it should be about 30, and then going up to about V slosher range, maybe a tad more. And some kits I had with this thing is splash wall to just throw it out, keep yourself alive, and then throw a bit of paint out, and an ink vac. So because splash wall and this weapon are probably going to be pretty slow, so then when you need to run up and help your teammates, you can just pop back real fast and help them and grant some invincibility. But if you don't like ink vac, then maybe splash wall and missiles for your team to follow up on, and you to try and follow up on, and of course splash will keep yourself alive. Another one I had was sprinkler to help have paint on the side with a decent paint, and then Trizuka to pressure long range threats and be a semi-consistent special, and to help your teammates move in. I think that's all I really have for this one. So on to the next one. Okay, so the second weapon on the list is what I call the rebound charger. Basically, when you are fully charged, your shot will be able to bounce off of walls and, be able to take strange angles off people. The reticle will probably work like angle shooter, where you aim at a wall and there's a little bit that shows where it's going to go. Unlike angle shooter, it's going to be accurate as to where the shot is going, because angle shooter is a little bit lower than the reticle for no reason. So that, hopefully they fix that sometime. And then the stats for this thing, the charge time is going to be a little bit longer, about 1.3 seconds to reach full charge. And then the tap shot damage range is going to be, I think, like 30 to 80-ish, and then it'll jump to 150. So you can't parry it, and it's just a one shot. And the range, I think, is going to be a little bit longer than the charger range. It's going to have a charge hold, and well, one possible gimmick idea I did come up with is that when you are point censored and marked, and then you rebound a shot off a wall nearby it, then the shot will track and try to hit the closest person that is marked, and other stuff like that. Of course, they still have to be within range, but I think it'd be really cool gimmick and just really fun. Unless you're the guy getting shot, but that's what you think. So the first kit, its sub-weapon is going to be Point Sensor and Inkstorm. Inkstorm to make up for its painting weakness and help it, honestly, just help play objective a little bit, and while it can take shots, just have something out taking space, taking shots, so you can take shots, and Point Sensor for the marking. The second kit is going to be Ink Mine and Crab Tank. A bit more defensive than the first one, because you have Ink Mines to defend yourself, and you can set it up in more strategic positions if your teammates push up, so then when it's crossed, then you can just flick and take a shot. And then Crab Tank for area suppression, and really overall just being, Crab Tank. Alright, so next up on the list we have the Insta Charger. This charger's gimmick is going to be, it's fully charged upon the initial button pressed and ready to one shot. This sounds a lot like Grizzco Charger. Yes, I did get the idea of Grizzco Charger, but it's definitely not going to be playing the same as Grizzco Charger. Unlike Grizzco Charger, this thing's fire rate is going to be a lot slower, akin to bang, 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 and its ink efficiency is also actually going to be worse than Grizzco Charger's. Now, the ink efficiency, I think about 30 to 40%, is going to give it about 2 to 3 shots at the 30 to 40% range. And then with enough ink save your main, that'll give you like one more shot. And it's not going to have a super and high amount of ink, white ink frames, because of how much ink it's going to be using up. It's still going to be a good amount, but to give it some guaranteed downtime, but not enough to make it feel like you're always constantly trying to get ink back. You're going to be able to get your ink back decently quickly. Now, some important things to note about this charger. Since it's fully charged instantly, it won't have a charge hold. You'll just go into your ink and just cancel the shot when you're holding it, because when it's fully charged upon initial button press, so you still have to let go in order to fire. That way his shots aren't like frame 1 or something. And then it won't be able to pierce, because it's just going to take a shot and then just go through people. And then also it will go through someone and then paint. That's a bit much. I think it should just land the hit, paint until the hit connects, and then just leave that amount of paint. And then you should be good to regen ink and then lay down paint around you, because then you still have to back up if there's someone else around, or take another shot of them. And if you're below the minimum requirements, if you're below 30 or 40% and can't take a fully charged shot, you will not have a fully charged shot. And when you are holding the button down, the amount of charge you have won't go up until you let go or cancel it. You'll just be holding that damage amount, and the damage at minimum, I think is going to be 45 minimum. The reason why I say 45 is because when you take that shot, you're going to be completely out of ink, and if you have to take that shot, that probably means you are in a bad position or you're getting rushed down, so you really don't want to take that shot. So when you do take that shot, one of your teammates has to follow up on it, because you still gotta back up and regen ink, because 40% is a lie and something people can kill you for. So 45 gives a nice combo number for your teammates to easily combo off of and help you with. And it's also a good combo number if they're already damaged and you need to fall back. So I think 45 is a good amount. And I guess I forgot to mention this before, the fully charged shot will be dealing 120 damage, because parrying is really cool. This thing's going to shoot so fast, actually being able to parry it is going to be very hard, but because you kind of have to read your opponent. And I think that'd be a nice satisfying thing to do, and since you already have 2 shots at least, you should still be able to take another shot if someone does parry it. You just have to go back into your ink and wait it out. I did some cooking with the kits, and this is what I came up with. First kit is, I have Ink Mine and Kraken. Now Ink Mine, you set up if you're kind of letting people approach you more instead of approaching them, because it's still a charger, and if you miss your shots, you're pretty vulnerable. So yeah, but I gave it Kraken. Now the reason why Kraken is because you see to set up your ink mines, and then you go in with Kraken, because Kraken has invincibility. It's going to be your run in and try to do stuff thing, and then back out. And then when people try to chase you, they got to deal with your ink mines that you set up, and then you're like dealing with your end lag. They're dealing with the ink mines while you're dealing with your end lag. And then if they like have to back off or something, or if they can't punish you in time with the Kraken, but they're still up, then you're gonna have the instant charge of specials. You give you instant ink back. So yeah. And then the second one I had is Sprinkler and Bubble. Now Sprinkler to paint, because you only have 2 shots. So yeah, you're gonna need those 2 shots, and Sprinkler can help with that. And then Bubble, because you set it up for your teammates, gives jumps, and then you're a scary charger with the shield, so other chargers with longer range are gonna have a harder time in contesting you because you're inside of a shield. And if you're on like a choke point or something, like Hammerhead Bridge, then you can just like lock down this area with Bubble. Of course, Bubble still sucks, and if you miss your shots, then people can just rush you down, but that's kind of a skill issue thing. So yeah, it doesn't really have a good get-in tool. This is kind of more like a supportish, a little bit more supportive kit. And then the other one I had was Curling and Zip. Curling to it's curling. You run after it. And with the instant charger, it'd probably work a little better on it than Squiffer, because you throw it, and then it goes forward, and then while you're regenning ink, and then you're ready and waiting for someone to come out, and you just, shoot them. And then Zipcaster, because you zip to a spot, and then since you already have it fully charged, you're in the air, but you already have it fully charged, so you can just, and you hit a wall, and someone's trying to punish you, and you just flick, and then see who hits the shot first. And since you're a charger, you're gonna have faster kill time. You see what I'm getting at here? The problem is with Zip is that you only get 2 shots, maybe 3, and then with the Zipcaster thing, even less. You're probably gonna lose 1 shot because of that. And then Auto Bomb and Inkjet. The reason why I chose Auto Bomb is for displacement and some form of location. Also, it's just a bomb, and since it's only going to take 50% ink time, you have at least 1 shot, even if you don't have any main saver. And if you have enough main saver, you have 2 shots. So if you need to displace like a backline or something, and then they poke their heads out, then you can just shoot them. And then there's Inkjet, because Inkjet's really good. But also with this spots, this thing this thing's probably going to be taking is going to be like a midline dangerous one-shot charger that you gotta watch out for. Then this thing's just gonna ascend into the heavens and then rain explosives on top of you. It's gonna really help your team, and it's gonna really help, you know, try and get picks. And then if you get camped, the charger's gonna come down, but remember, you can start firing before you hit the ground. So you have the charger ready. The charger can shoot you the moment it touches the ground. Actually, since it's charged fully, this thing might even be able to hit you before it hits the ground. Of course, a shot like that is going to be extremely difficult, but I think it's possible. So, yeah. Okay, so now the last weapon on this list is the Scythe Splatana. It's going to have all the attributes of a normal Splatana, you know, the horizontal slashes and then the charged vertical slash. However, the main gimmick of this thing is going to be in the vertical slash. So let's go over some stats. Now, the basic horizontal slashes are going to deal 40 damage. That's going to have a slow fire rate, decent paint, and it's going to be a pretty slow weapon overall. And then all the charged beams are going to do 80 damage, and of course are going to, if they're 50% over any kind of wall or ledge, it is going to keep going through it. Now let's talk about the main gimmick of this thing. Basically, when you charge it, instead of going down to whichever side it's on, like normal Splatanas, it's going to be up on the corresponding side. This is going to be very visible, and you can clearly see it because of the main gimmick of this thing. Now, the main gimmick of this thing is, depending on which way you are holding and which way the camera is facing, you will drag the weapon to that side. So, if you are holding forward, you will bring the Splatana into an overhead slash that comes down and then sends the vertical beam forward. And of course, this is all going to be one shot and hitbox. And it will send the beam forward, and that beam will deal 80 and paint. If you don't hold a direction, then you'll just bring the Splatoon down across you from the right side down to the left. And it's going to be on the left side, so then if you charge no one, you'll bring it back up onto your left and then bring it down to your right side. This is standing up normally, and that is all one-shot hitbox. And then, of course, it'll send the beams out, and it will be making an X. And then, now, if you're holding left or right, you will bring the Splatana from that side down from your right down to your left if you're holding left, and then it'll make a horizontal slash. That entire area is going to be lethal, and then the direction of the beam is going to go forward, and it's going to be horizontally. And then the damage of this beam is still going to be 80, and it's not going to be going quite as far as the vertical beams, because it's going to be painting much more since it's horizontal. So it won't go as far, and it's mainly just to cover this left side. And if you do it to your right, same thing, you're just going to quickly change directions. If you're holding it the wrong way, like if you're holding on to right but you want to go right, you'll just quickly swap directions real fast. It's fine if that's janky. And then if you're holding backwards, what you'll do is take it and then do this spin backwards and then drag the Splatana from the opposite side where you were holding it up down to the side you were holding it up. So if you're holding it up to your right, then you go backwards, you'll take a step backwards and spin it around you, and then it'll land on your left, the hitbox will start and then end on your right. And it will send a horizontal beam forward to the same distance you would have if you did it to the right. But this entire area still behind you is okay, but since you are taking a step backwards and swinging, it's coming down to the right, so you're going backwards. And I think it's just, this would make it a good option where if you are charged, but then someone approaches you and you're not sure exactly where they're going, and it's just a quick get off me tool, and either you hit it or you don't, and then they take 80 usually. Unless they're still behind you, then that's a problem. And of course, if you swing the camera around, it won't work because the player's model, when starting the animation, will lock in. So if you charge and you just swing the camera one way, it won't adjust the direction of the player's ankling. That way you're not making the hitboxes way longer than they should be, and I think it just made the game overall just a lot jankier. So if you swing one direction, you are committed to that direction. Now let's talk about the kits to this thing. Yeah, some kits I tried to come up with are Fizzy and Chumps. Fizzy because movement tool, poking tool, it's a bomb, but also indirect is 35, and if you have, it can combo with two horizontals or one vertical, and Fizzy's slow enough to like almost land that. It's not going to be as good as Burst Bomb. I didn't want to give it a Burst Bomb because of Splatoon Stamper, that already exists, but I think that works. And then Chumps because it paint okay, but also probably going to need a more get-in tool. Fizzy can help paint for it. Chumps are just this area to help provide cover for it, and because of the slow charge time, it's possible to get shot out of it while charging, and Chumps can just work as a shield or a distraction while it's getting that charge up. And then the second kit I had was Splat Bomb Wave Breaker. Splat Bomb for, it's a bomb poke tool, but 30 damage is almost like indirect Fizzy, and it's going to be a combo number for this. And then Wave Breaker because then you go in, and you're going to be going in while people have to jump over your waves. So yeah, they kind of don't want to do that. And if you're swinging, they're not going to be able to swim away from your swing. And of course, it's going to provide marking, it's going to provide damage, and that damage is also going to be a nice combo number for this Scythe Splatoon. The only problems I can see from having that kit is just not good mobility, and well, not as good mobility. Still have horizontal slashes, although those things probably won't have too much range either. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this one. So yeah, that's all I got for now. Let me know if you enjoyed. I kind of went on a little bit of a rant here. I just recently made some of these up, except for the one-shot charge slosher. That one I made up a long time ago, so I don't remember a whole lot about it. But yeah, like and subscribe. See ya. Let me know down in the comments what you think, please.